Welcome to another episode of 300 Voices in 300 Days. I'm your host, Tyrone Darden, and this is TAN TV, the African American Network. I'm here with one of our 300 Voices, Miss Lisa Brice. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so we're going to give about 30 seconds to introduce ourselves, and then we're going to jump right into the interview.
Hi, my name is Lisa Brice, as he mentioned. I'm a native San Antonio. I grew up on the east side of San Antonio, went to S.H. Gates, Jeff Davis, and Highlands High School, UTSA for both undergraduate and graduate school. And I recently retired from the city of San Antonio with almost 25 years of service.
Wow, that's extensive. I would like to say that being a native of San Antonio, I also went to Gates Elementary, and then I was at Davis Middle School the year that they changed it from Jeff Davis to Stonewall Jackson Davis, S.J. Davis, who was one of the board members or a superintendent, one of those things back in the day with the district. And then, unfortunately, I didn't go to Highlands. I went to Sam Houston, but we do share that hometown SAISD flavor. So I want to welcome you on that because it's rare to see a lot of people that are successful and productive and educated and stay home. So I want to salute you for that. We were talking earlier. You said that you just recently retired from the city of San Antonio.
Exactly.
So me being on the civilian side of it, looking at the city and how it works and things like that, and most people don't really have a clue. What area did you work in, and how did that work impact the daily lives of people in San Antonio?
For the most, I worked in various positions within the city of San Antonio. I initially started out in the purchasing department. Then I went to the city manager's office.
Okay.
Briefly went to the finance department, back to the city manager's office. When the city manager that I worked for retired, I went to go work for a guy by the name of Kevin Dolio.
Okay.
He was actually our first African-American aviation director.
Wow.
He just now got a job. He's the director now of New Orleans' airport.
Wow.
So my main area was small business and disadvantaged businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I kind of wanted to get into public service, first of all, I'll tell you this. My father also worked for the city. So did my sister. My father's in the fire department. My sister worked in a grants department.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of was ingrained in us as we were growing up, civic duty. I can remember block walking when I was like in junior school and stuff. And one of the reasons I got into public service was that I thought I could make more of a change inside the organization than from the outside. And understanding the processes and trying to help small businesses obtain contracts, retain contracts, and understand the processes. And I think I've actually my program at the airport has received national recognition from the FAA on one of the better programs of how we treat our disadvantages of people, disadvantaged businesses. With the city, there's a difference. We have our local program, then we have the federal program. I'm mostly focused on our federal program or federal dollars. So I really enjoyed meeting people, going out into the community, talking to them, explaining to people how things work, because the reality of it is, as a small business, if you don't get in there or get hooked up with a larger company and understand the ins and outs and the city's rules, you are at a disadvantage. So those are the kind of things that I really enjoyed doing.
And I think that's a phenomenal thing that you and your family, your siblings and your father, took those steps to be public servants and to give, because as we all may not know, but you can make a lot of money in the private sector knowing what you know. But to say I'm going to sacrifice and I'm going to do it, with a municipality like the city of San Antonio, I think that says a lot. I think another thing what I heard you saying is, for me, I look at elected officials, right? And so we have, we've had a mayor, I was African American. for decades for District 2, which is this area, mostly East Side. We've had African American representation, District 120 on the state level, and now even at the county level in Precinct 4 with Tommy Calvert. But I don't think too often we look at those leaders in the capacity of civil servants and things like that. Like you mentioned, the director of the aeronautics program,
The aviation
the
department.
aviation department for
Mhm.
San Antonio. I would never know. So if you know, you obviously have been around that area for a couple decades, so you would be able to say, no, we've had this in this area and that area. Who should we know that has come through there, African Americans, and have represented us on those levels as far as leadership in the city?
Jillian Burley is one of the people who I first met at the city.
Okay.
She was like a mentor to me. She helped me maneuver the city and understand things. There's another young lady named Yolanda Miller.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure you know who she is.
Yes, ma'am. I heard
Yes.
the name. Mhm.
So her at the time we had Travis Bishop, Andrew Cameron,
Yes, definitely.
definitely. All of those, and like I said, Kevin Dolio. But there were other people that weren't African American that mentored me also.
Mhm.
So I don't want to like disrespect that. But those are the people that I grew up under and being guided by.
Mhm.
And still to this day, keep in contact with them. They keep in contact with me. And I really appreciate everything they did to help me find my place
Mhm.
in that organization.
Definitely. You mentioned Drew Cameron. I actually went to Davis with his daughter way back when, so I'm definitely familiar with him and several of the other names that you shared with us. So, kind of going back to those leaders and those people, generally speaking, what is often said, you know, if we can get a seat at the table, we can make some change. And I know you also said earlier that you could make more of an impact working from the inside out. How important to you is it that once we do, whether it's elected, appointed, or it's just your job you got hired to do, how important is it, in your opinion, that once black people do get into positions of authority, positions to make decisions, whether it be appointments on contracts or whatever it may be, how is it important? How important is it to you that those people connect with other black people?
I think it's very important, but I don't want to limit the black culture to only looking at black culture. It's actually helping them make connections because let's just be honest, people like to do business with people that look like themselves.
Yes, ma'am.
And if they can't make those connections, and if I didn't help them make those connections, then certain, you know, I would have been lacking in my job.
Yes, ma'am.
And stuff. And so it's not just only getting us to the table, it's getting us hooked up with other companies, larger companies that are willing to mentor, take a chance, give you an opportunity, help you create that relationship. I've always said that one of the things that I noticed from especially African American community is that we are very hesitant. That's how I would say it, on calling up somebody saying, hey, what kind of projects do you have coming up?
Yes.
This, and getting to know people. Because like I said, people, not only do we like to do business with people that look like us, we like to, we also like, as an owner, you want to get to know the person first so you can understand their work, understand their capabilities. And sometimes that means going to the table more than once,
Yes.
more than twice, more than 3 times, getting to actually let them understand and see your work. And I can't overemphasize that. The other thing, as in my capacity in doing my work, I always encourage people to Every year, the city does a budget.
Mhm.
We have over $1 billion budget. Did
Yes,
we go
ma'am.
to $2 billion this year?
We had 2.6,
So
2.7.
yeah.
Mhm.
So there's resources available for you to go see what projects are coming up, so you can start finding someone to team with. Because by the time the pre-bid comes, they've already formed their team.
True statement.
2 weeks later, the bid is due. You're late to the table. You gotta form those relationships beforehand. Also, there's resources available in the city of San Antonio to help business owners with business plans.
Mhm.
And I'll throw out a name, Terry Williams. I don't know if you know who Terry
Mhm.
Williams is. She runs PTAC. Her and Shirley over there, they are more than helpful to help businesses start up their business plans and get it together. I can give you an example of what I said earlier today to someone. I said, even though you can paint like a
Mhm.
great painter, but if you don't know how to run your books, don't know how to run your money, don't know how to do your payroll, then you're not going to be that successful or as
Mhm.
successful as you can be.
Mhm.
So take the time to avail yourself to the resources that are available. And many of those resources are free.
Mhm.
So that's basically how I lived my career and stuff, and trying to help people.
Well, we definitely have to open ourselves up to opportunity through networking, and we
Correct.
definitely need to connect ourselves to resources. But I like what you said. If you wait to the pre-bid, you're already too late because those relationships are being formed already. You got a couple of weeks after that, the proposals due, and if you're still on the late show, you're never going to be a part of that process. And I think that's important for our African Americans, our small businesses, our minority businesses that want to get that work from the city, the county, all these different places to understand the process.
Mhm.
And that's where people like you come in. And again, I commend you for having this wealth of knowledge and being able to share it, because if you don't know, how can you grow? And so that goes to this question. Why is it important for us to even share our story, in your opinion?
Why? For knowledge. Knowledge is king. To understand the ins and outs of the system, to understand, the first time we do something, we may make a mistake.
Mhm.
The second time, we may make a mistake. But if we keep working hard enough at it, and you go to the right resources and go to the correct people, there's people out there that I know that will be more than willing to help out and stuff. Another good friend of mine, Renee Watson.
Renee Watson.
That's my girl. And she has a great mentor protege program.
Mhm.
She works with a lot of different programs. So there are resources out there. And even though I've retired from the city, um, I am still willing to avail myself to anybody that needs assistance on guidance or anything like that. I haven't quite decided. I'm doing some other work with some other airports, but I'm still in the game.
Still in the game. And that's good to hear, because a lot of times we don't know where to go. And hopefully for those who are viewing our show and understanding the whole purpose of 300 Voices, I remembered you because someone else that we were connected to put us in the same room. And that was Chuck Landy. But there are a multitude of people that are going to be viewing this that may be interested in growing a business or working with the city that don't know where to start. And just a little bit of information that you've given today and that you have to offer, just on a very surface basis, can help get somebody to the next step, to the next level. The names that you've dropped, those people have been working. Renee Watson has been working hard for years. And people may not have ever heard of her, may not ever heard of the program that she's over, may not even know that she goes into the jails and teaches people how to start their own businesses. But now they know.
Yes.
And like you said, knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. And that's why it's important to share our story. So I appreciate that. I commend you for your work. Before we end our interview, is there anything that you want to share with our 10 audience that you feel like they need to know?
Just don't give up. Have that. If you have that entrepreneurial spirit, go for it. If you don't try, you won't succeed. So just go ahead and try. For example, today I had a young lady call me that I went to high school with. She needed someone to haul away some stuff, but she didn't know who to call. So how many contractors do I know in this city? Give her a list of names. I don't recommend people.
Yeah.
I'll give a list of names, and you go work your deal with that person if that's what you want to do. And like I said, I have no problem availing myself to assist, help out, or just do anything to help grow our community. Because the reality of it is, when we talk about the African American community, and we talk about the percentage of dollars spent with the African American community, we can tout how much it's grown. But if you really look at our lack of capacity in certain areas, teaching our kids trades, electricians, plumbers, people don't think about stuff like that anymore. You want to be the executive that's wearing the tie and stuff, which is not anything wrong with that. But that electrician and that plumber, when I get that bill, they making pretty good money.
Hey, some of them making 6 figures.
They making pretty good money. So just to encourage our kids that, their vocational opportunities, their internship opportunities, apprentice opportunities, to help grow yourself into, like, this. Our country was built with manufacturing and things like that. And I don't want people to turn away from that. Of course, I want you to get an education too. But college is not for everyone.
It's not.
And I'll tell you this, and I'll say this. My youngest brother went to college, decided that it wasn't for him. He works for UPS 20 years, makes a salary that supports his family.
Yes.
And he just came to us and said that college just wasn't for him. He's more of a kind of person that likes to be out, moving about and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Don't look away from those types of jobs. Those types of jobs they give you benefits, they give you pensions, they give you everything else like that. So just keep all opportunities open. For high school students, I would advise them, don't wait for your guidance counselor to come to you. You go to them. You knock on their door every day. Let them know you're interested. Seek out what scholarships are out there. We were talking about scholarships earlier today. There are a lot of scholarships out there that some people don't even take the time to even fill out the application. There's scholarships. Martin Luther King Commission has a scholarship.
Definitely.
Black Police Officers Association has scholarships. I can name a lot of scholarships that are available to people that if you don't go to your guidance counselors or you don't seek out people that have those kind of that information, then you're losing out on opportunities.
Definitely. And like you said, one of the things that I'm going to hang on is knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. And again, I want to thank you, Lisa Brice, for being one of our 300 voices over this journey we're taking over 300 days. It's been phenomenal. All the different areas you worked in the city. Just that service and that wealth of knowledge that so high that you can empower someone to build their business. But even on a ground level, someone just needs some stuff hauled off from their house, and you can tie them in with a local contractor. I think that's what we need in our community: resources, people they can go to to close gaps and to get things done. So again, thank you for being one of our guests.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Tyrone Darden, another episode of 300 Voices in 300 Days for TAN TV.